Ups and downs of the Roman-Germanic Wars. The Roman-Germanic Wars, spanning centuries, were marked by periods of Roman success and devastating setbacks. These oscillations in fortune reflected the evolving strategies, resilience, and adaptability of both Rome and the Germanic tribes. Below is an exploration of the key ups and downs of the conflict, examining pivotal moments, their causes, and their impacts. Roman highs, moments of success. 1. Julius Caesar's campaigns in Gaul, 58 to 50 BCE. The high point. Caesar's victory over the Germanic Suebi under Ariovistus in 58 BCE pushed Germanic forces across the Rhine and secured Gaul for Rome. His audacious construction of a bridge over the Rhine in 55 BCE showcased Roman engineering and military might, sending a powerful message to the Germanic tribes. Impact. These campaigns established the Rhine as a natural boundary and instilled fear of Rome's power in Germanic leaders. 2. The campaigns of Drusus the Elder, 12 to 9 BCE. The high point. Drusus led successful Roman offensives deep into Germania, reaching the Weser and Elbe rivers. His campaigns marked the farthest Roman penetration into Germanic territory. The construction of forts, roads, and bridges enabled Rome to sustain its presence in the region. Impact. Drusus' efforts laid the groundwork for further Roman campaigns and demonstrated the logistical capabilities of the Roman military. 3. Germanicus' retaliation, 14 to 16 CE. The high point. Germanicus launched a series of campaigns to avenge the defeat at Teutoburg Forest. He recovered 2 of the 3 lost legionary standards and inflicted defeats on Arminius' forces at battles like Itus Diviso. Impact. Germanicus restored Roman prestige and morale, proving that Rome could still challenge the Germanic tribes in battle. 4. The fortification of the Rhine and Danube. The high point. Rome shifted to a defensive strategy, constructing the Limes Germanicus and fortifying the Rhine and Danube frontiers. These defenses protected Roman provinces and stabilized the empire's northern borders for centuries. Impact. The establishment of these fortifications ensured the security of Roman territory and became a model for frontier defense. 5. Economic and cultural influence. The high point. Roman trade and cultural exchange flourished along the Rhine, spreading Roman goods, technology, and practices into Germanic societies. Impact. This influence contributed to the gradual Romanization of some Germanic elites and fostered long-term cultural connections. Roman lows, devastating failures. 1. The disaster at the Teutoburg Forest, 9 CE. The low point. Arminius, a former Roman auxiliary, orchestrated an ambush that annihilated 3 Roman legions under Publius Quinctilius Varus. This defeat was one of the worst in Roman history, with tens of thousands of soldiers killed and the loss of vital equipment. Impact. Rome abandoned its plans to conquer Germania east of the Rhine. The psychological impact on Rome was immense, with Emperor Augustus lamenting, "Varus, give me back my legions." 2. Logistical challenges in Germania. The low point. Germania's dense forests, swamps, and rivers proved to be a nightmare for Roman supply lines and troop movements. Harsh winters and difficult terrain neutralized many of Rome's traditional advantages, leading to costly campaigns with limited success. Impact. These logistical challenges highlighted the limits of Roman expansion and contributed to the decision to fortify rather than conquer Germania. 3. Fragmented alliances and betrayals. The low point. Rome's strategy of forging alliances with Germanic tribes often backfired. Key allies, such as Arminius, betrayed Rome, while other tribes frequently shifted loyalties. Impact. These betrayals undermined Roman plans for pacification and reinforced the difficulty of maintaining control over a decentralized and independent society. 4. The Marcomannic Wars, 166 to 180 CE. The low point. Germanic tribes like the Marcomanni and Quadi launched large-scale invasions into Roman territory during the reign of Marcus Aurelius. These invasions devastated Roman provinces, and although Marcus Aurelius eventually repelled the tribes, the wars drained Rome's resources and manpower. Impact. The Marcomannic Wars exposed the increasing vulnerability of Rome's frontiers and marked the beginning of a period of heightened pressure from Germanic and other barbarian groups. 5. The migration period and the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The low point, by the 4th and 5th centuries CE, Germanic tribes such as the Goths, Vandals, and Franks migrated into Roman territory, driven by pressure from the Huns. Events like the sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 41. 3. Retaliation under Germanicus, 14 to 16 CE. After the devastating defeat at the Teutoburg Forest, Germanicus launched a series of successful campaigns to avenge Rome's losses and recover its honor. Victory at Idistavizo. Germanicus decisively defeated Arminius in battle, showcasing Rome's ability to regroup and strike back. High point. The recovery of 2 of the 3 lost legionary standards symbolized Rome's resilience and determination. 4. Cultural influence and Romanization. Economic and cultural penetration. Despite military setbacks, Rome extended its influence into Germania through trade, diplomacy, and the spread of Roman culture. Germanic elites near the frontier adopted Roman goods, customs, and military practices. High point. The creation of a hybrid cultural zone along the Rhine helped Rome maintain influence in Germania without full conquest. 5. Defense of the frontier. The Rhine and Danube lines. Following the abandonment of full-scale conquest, Rome shifted to a defensive strategy. The Rhine and Danube frontiers became heavily fortified, effectively deterring large-scale invasions for centuries. High point. The stability of the Rhine frontier preserved Roman control over Gaul and the western provinces. The downs, Roman setbacks. 1. Early resistance and challenges. Caesar's first encounters. 58 to 55 BCE. Julius Caesar's campaigns against the Suebi and other Germanic tribes highlighted the difficulty of subjugating decentralized tribal societies. While he pushed the tribes back across the Rhine, his victories were temporary. Low point. The Germanic tribes' ability to regroup and resist underscored the challenges of maintaining control. 2. The Teutoburg Forest disaster 9 CE. The ambush of 3 Roman legions under Publius Quinctilius Varus by Arminius was a catastrophic blow to Rome. Low point. The annihilation of the legions ended Rome's ambitions to conquer Germania east of the Rhine. The psychological impact of the defeat haunted Rome, with Emperor Augustus famously lamenting, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." 3. Logistical and geographical challenges. Terrain and climate. Germania's dense forests, swamps, and rivers created significant obstacles for Roman armies. The terrain negated many of Rome's advantages in organization and logistics. Low point. The inability to navigate or control Germania's challenging geography limited Rome's ability to conduct sustained campaigns. 4. Fragmented alliances and betrayals. Unreliable allies. Rome's reliance on alliances with Germanic tribes often backfired. Arminius, a trusted ally, betrayed Rome, orchestrating the Teutoburg ambush. Other tribes frequently shifted loyalties based on immediate gains. Low point. These betrayals undermined Roman efforts to pacify Germania and revealed the limits of diplomacy. 5. Long-term resistance. Guerrilla warfare. The Germanic tribes excelled in hit-and-run tactics and ambushes, exploiting their knowledge of the terrain. This made it nearly impossible for Rome to achieve a decisive victory. Low point. The persistent resistance of the tribes drained Rome's resources and morale, forcing the empire to abandon its ambitions of total conquest. The UPS, Germanic victories. 1. The triumph at Teutoburg Forest, 9 CE. Arminius' ambush of Varus' legions was a defining moment in Germanic history. High point. The victory united the tribes, albeit temporarily, and ensured their independence from Roman rule. 2. The persistence of freedom. Unconquered lands. Germania remained outside Roman control, preserving the tribe's independence and cultural identity. High point. The inability of Rome to impose its authority on Germania east of the Rhine symbolized the resilience of decentralized societies. 3. Adaptation and evolution. Learning from Rome. The Germanic tribes adopted Roman weapons, tactics, and administrative practices, making them more formidable adversaries in later conflicts. High point. Germanic adaptability allowed tribes like the Franks and Goths to emerge as major powers after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Downs, Germanic struggles. 1. Tribal fragmentation. Internal divisions. The Germanic tribes were deeply fragmented, with rivalries often undermining collective resistance to Rome. Arminius himself faced opposition from his fellow chieftains. Low point. The lack of unity limited the tribe's ability to mount sustained campaigns against Roman forces. 2. Roman retaliation. Devastation by Germanicus. Rome's punitive campaigns under Germanicus inflicted significant damage on Germanic settlements, undermining their ability to resist. Low point. The destruction of villages and resources weakened the tribes, even if Rome failed to achieve total control. 3. The strain of raiding. Economic dependence. Many Germanic tribes relied on raiding Roman territory for wealth, creating a cycle of conflict that often provoked harsh Roman reprisals. Low point. This dependency on raiding hindered long-term economic stability and growth.